In the medieval period, Genghis Khan was one of the most influential and terrifying rulers of all time. He is credited with uniting the nomadic tribes of Mongolia into a single powerful force and establishing the largest contiguous land empire in history. But how did he do it? What were his major accomplishments and what made him so ruthless? How exactly was he able to establish his empire? And how did he die? Welcome to my channel. And today, let's find out about Genghis Khan, the Emperor of Terror. Born in 1160 or 1162, Temujin was the son of a minor chieftain. At age 9, he got married to a girl from a rival tribe in an attempt to forge a peace treaty between them. However, when Temujin and his family were away for an extended period of time, his father was killed by members of another rival clan who sought revenge for an old grievance. After hearing about this, Temujin and his family fled their home and had to live under the protection of a different tribe for several years. During this time, Temujin learned valuable skills that would help him later on. He learned archery, riding, hunting, and sword fighting from an early age. Later, he also learned to read and write in Mongolian script. This gave him an edge over his rivals because most Mongols were illiterate. When Temujin was about 16 years old, he returned to his father's territory, but there was no sign of his father's killer. Eventually, he grew up, defeated his enemies, and took the title of Genghis Khan, meaning ocean or supreme leader. Under his leadership, the Mongols began to unite various tribes under his banner, expanding his own power base. By 1206, he was proclaimed the Emperor of all Mongols. While Genghis built his empire, he also developed a unique legal code called Yasa, which established punishments for crimes such as murder, theft, rape, and other offenses. It also defined the rights and duties of subjects and prohibited certain behaviors such as alcoholism and gambling. Additionally, Yasa protected foreigners and those who surrendered peacefully from further harm. Even though it was harsh by modern standards, it was relatively advanced for its time and helped stabilize his realm. Under Genghis Khan's rule, the Mongols became one of the most formidable fighting forces in the world. His military tactics were innovative and effective, combining speed, stealth, and overwhelming force. In addition, he employed a variety of units, including cavalry, infantry, and artillery, and was able to adapt his strategies to different terrains and opponents. One of his key accomplishments was the creation of the Mongol Peace, a period of stability and security within his empire that allowed trade and cultural exchange to flourish. He also promoted religious tolerance and protected the rights of minorities. However, these accomplishments were often overshadowed by the brutality and destruction wrought by his armies during his conquests. In 1211, he conquered the Kara Khitai, a powerful state in Central Asia. The Mongols initially used psychological warfare, sending intimidating letters before attacking. When the Khwarezmians refused to submit, the Mongols launched a surprise attack, defeating the unprepared enemy. The Mongols used catapults to hurl boulders into the city, causing widespread destruction. Once inside the city walls, they unleashed terror on the inhabitants, burning buildings, looting treasures, and executing many people. Many more died of starvation and disease. After capturing the city, Genghis Khan ordered the construction of a new capital, Karakorum, where he would rule over his vast empire. The city was strategically located in the center of the Mongol domain, making it easy to manage his far-flung territories. In 1219, Genghis Khan set his sights on the Khwarezmian Empire in Persia, which controlled important trade routes to China and the Middle East. Initially, the Mongols attempted diplomacy, but when negotiations failed, they declared war. Genghis Khan divided his army into two groups and led a surprise attack on the Khwarezmians. Despite fierce resistance, the Mongols emerged victorious, capturing cities like Bukhara and Samarkand. The sack of Bukhara was particularly brutal, with thousands of people put to death and their city reduced to ashes. In 1223, Genghis Khan faced the Western Xia dynasty in battle, a formidable force that had previously resisted Mongol advances. Despite being outnumbered, the Mongols used their superior military tactics and weaponry to defeat the Xias decisively at the Battle of the Khalkha River. The battle was a turning point in the conflict between the Mongols and the Western Xia dynasty, leading to the eventual conquest of the Western Xia by the Mongols. After the war, Genghis Khan prepared for a new campaign against the Quraysh Empire in the Middle East. However, he fell ill during the campaign and died in 1227 at the age of 65 or 66. The exact cause of his death is unknown, but it may have been the result of injuries sustained from an arrow wound or illnesses contracted during his campaigns. He was buried in a tomb in Mongolia, according to his wishes, and the location of his burial remains a mystery. Despite his short life, Genghis Khan left an indelible mark on history. He is remembered for his military genius, his ability to unite disparate groups under a single banner, and for his creation of the largest contiguous land empire in history. Under his leadership, the Mongols went from being a small, insignificant tribe to becoming a major power in Asia. In addition to his military accomplishments, Genghis Khan was also a skilled diplomat and administrator. He was able to forge alliances with other tribes and nations, and he established a legal code that brought order to his realm. However, he was also known for his brutality and ruthlessness. His armies were responsible for the deaths of millions of people, and he was not afraid to use terror as a weapon of war. Some historians argue that Genghis Khan's empire was built on a foundation of violence and oppression, and that his legacy is one of bloodshed and destruction. Others argue that he was a visionary leader who created a new world order, and that his empire brought stability and prosperity to his people. Ultimately, Genghis Khan was a complex and controversial figure whose legacy continues to be debated by historians today. Now let's look at some interesting facts about him. Number 1. Genghis Khan was a brilliant military strategist and tactician, known for his innovative and effective use of cavalry and archery tactics. 2. Genghis Khan was a skilled diplomat and administrator, able to negotiate with and rule over a wide variety of peoples and cultures. 3. Genghis Khan was a patron of the arts and sciences, and his court in Karakoram was a center of intellectual and cultural activity. 4. Genghis Khan was a devout follower of Tengriism, a Central Asian form of shamanism and animism, and he promoted religious tolerance within his empire. 5. Genghis Khan's empire was vast and diverse, encompassing a wide range of cultures, religions, and peoples. He was able to maintain control over such a large and diverse empire through a combination of military force, diplomacy, and administrative efficiency. 6. Despite his many accomplishments, little is known about Genghis Khan's personal life. Most of what we know comes from the writings of his enemies and rivals, and his own story has been romanticized and mythologized over the centuries. 7. Genghis Khan's empire would eventually be divided among his grandsons. However, his descendants would continue to rule over much of Asia for centuries. 8. The legacy of Genghis Khan continues to be debated by historians. Some view him as a brutal and merciless conqueror, while others see him as a brilliant military strategist and administrator. 9. Genghis Khan's name is often invoked by right-wing and nationalist groups around the world. However, his actual views on race and ethnicity are not well documented, and it is difficult to say how he would view contemporary issues. 10. Today, Genghis Khan is one of the most famous and infamous figures in history. His name has become synonymous with power, conquest, and brutality. Whether he is remembered as a hero or a villain, there is no doubt that Genghis Khan was one of the most influential rulers of all time. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe and leave a comment below. We'll see you next time.